Today I'm going to talk about the life-changing research on the gut-brain connection. The reason I share this is because I lived overseas, I got gut trouble, and had gut trouble for 11 years and also had depression, but didn't realize at the time that they were connected until my gut healed, and then within 2 weeks the depression went away. And so then I began to look into the scientific literature to figure out why it happened, and that's what we're going to look into today. Hey everybody, Chad Cruiser here with Health and Homestead. Now I want to begin with the oldest scientific study in recorded history. According to the journal Perspectives in Clinical Research, looking back through history, the first clinical trial ever discovered comes from the book of Daniel in the Bible. If you want to see what that study was, strangely enough, it was a study on the gut-brain connection. And go read Daniel chapter 1 for yourself. You can see what it is. Scientific American report on how scientists are calling the gut the second brain. They state that gastrointestinal issues can sour people's mood. So something going on in the gut. Now we know this from Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis. Various gut issues can actually often precipitate depression. Now we've known for some time that one of the most complex nerves in the body, called the vagus nerve, is a nerve that connects the brain to the gut. Now it also connects to other organs of the body, but researchers have discovered that the information going from the brain to the gut and the gut to the brain, 90% of it goes from the gut to the brain and not the other way around, meaning your gut is telling your brain more than your brain is telling your gut. And this connection between the gut and the brain can either positively or negatively impact your chances of coming down with depression. Now check out this fascinating study, Toddlers, Microbes, and Tantrums. Researchers out of Ohio State University looked at bacterial diversity in the guts of toddlers and their potential impact on their character. They found that toddlers with greater diversity of gut bacteria were more social and happier. They also found that boys had greater extroversion with greater diversity of gut flora. So looking at toddlers, they could see that if you had a greater diversity of gut bacteria, generally these children would be more positive, more social, more outgoing. And the converse was also true, that if you lacked the bacterial diversity, that what they saw is that these children had more introversion, they were more shy, they would have more tantrums. Now, looking at this, you say, okay, that's toddlers, maybe that has nothing to do with adults, but they've done an incredible study looking at alcoholics. This is a study on alcoholism and lacking gut bacteria. A study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences revealed an imbalance of gut bacteria in certain alcoholics. Now, they looked at 60 alcoholics, relatively small study, and they discovered that 24 of them had lower levels of bacteria in their guts. And after 19 days alcohol-free, those with the lower levels of bacteria had higher levels of anxious feeling, depression, and desire for alcohol. And the 36 participants with better gut flora were doing better. Now, it may be possible that even for adults, having a greater diversity of gut bacteria might make you a happier person, less likely to struggle with anxiety. Now, these are some preliminary studies, but there's other studies that kind of connect with this. Research reported in the Bulgarian Journal of Plant Physiology reveals that animal neurotransmitters are found in plants. Our brain has various chemicals called neurotransmitters, one of which is like serotonin. And what they're discovering is that plants can have within them, within their very structure, they can have some of the chemicals that our brains need. Now, could this positively be impacting our mental health? This is from the Journal of Neuropsychiatry of Clinical Neuroscience, and this entry is called Depression and Fruit Treatment. Now you notice it says depression is a common mood disorder affecting sleep, appetite, and libido, and is also one of the manifestations of dementia, may lead to suicide attempts, particularly with violent methods. Research has shown the involvement of serotonin, melatonin, and tryptophan in depression, and they specifically point out that various foods like plantains, pineapples, bananas, kiwis, plums, and tomatoes for serotonin. They say, look, these neurotransmitters can be found in plants. Could it be possible that adding them into the diet could make people less likely to have depression, or to even, as they say, well, they use another word, but to off themselves? And here's the thing, you think, I don't want you to get the idea that I think every aspect of depression is from what you're eating, but it can make a significant impact. There's actually various factors in depression. I'm making an entire series on this, and I'll let you know more about that in the future. But one of the factors can be simply what we're eating, and so eating a greater diversity of fruits and vegetables can be giving our bodies what we need for happiness. This is from the British Journal of Health Psychology. The title of the study is "Many Apples a Day Keep the Blues Away: Daily Experiences of Negative and Positive Affect and Food Consumption in Young Adults." What's really interesting is that they looked at what young people were eating, and they found that the more fruits and vegetables, or more servings of fruits and vegetables per day, would increase your level of happiness that day. They also found that it would increase your happiness the very next day. So it was causative seemingly in the study. Now, a similar study, this study was replicated in the American Journal of Public Health. And this is the chart that they found. This is from bottom to top is change in life satisfaction, basically how happy you are with your life. And on the bottom, from 0 to 8 servings of fruits or vegetables per day, they found that if you ate 1, you were slightly happier, not much, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 servings of fruits or vegetables could make you significantly happier, statistically significant increase in happiness based upon how many servings of fruits or vegetables that you were eating. This is pretty simple, right? I mean, this is not some strange thing. You have to go find this very strange plant. And yeah, and there are plants out there that can help you separately. We know about that. I have some of the research on our channel, like St. John's wort and so forth. But this is simply just eating a diversity of plant foods. For every serving you eat in a day, or additional serving, it makes you, incrementally happier. In the British Journal of Nutrition, this is the Dietary Phytochemical Index. Now, phytochemical, P-H-Y-T-O, that word phyto stands for plant. This is plant chemical. We're not talking about pesticides or chemicals that are dangerous. We're talking about the nutrition that is found in plants, the phytochemicals. And notice what they found. People who ate the most unrefined plant food, we're not talking about sugar and so forth, they had 78% less depression, 67% less anxiety, and 70% lower levels of psychological distress. And those who had the lowest levels of depression, anxiety, and psychological distress ate the most fruit, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, zinc, potassium, magnesium, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A, fiber, and carbs, and the happiest people in this particular study ate less fat. And when we're talking about them eating more carbs and vitamin A and zinc and so forth, we're not talking about them taking pills of these things or taking sugar when it says they ate more carbs. We're talking about them getting it whole in the food that they are eating. And so they're getting higher levels of phytonutrients or plant nutrients from the food that they are getting, and eating a diversity of these. Now, as we add up all these studies, we're starting to get a picture that seems like eating more and more fruits and vegetables, and whole grains for that matter, can statistically significantly impact our levels of happiness. Now, keep in mind, obviously, if you can't eat gluten, there are a small amount of people who struggle with it, and they should avoid it, but the vast majority of people do perfectly fine with it, actually do very well with it. The research shows that. And so what do they see? That people who are eating the greatest diversity have the highest levels of happiness. This actually fits perfectly with what the Bible says. It says back in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for food. The food that, according to the Bible, God gave Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. The word Eden means pleasure. And so you would expect that whatever God gave Adam and Eve in the Garden of Pleasure would bring about the most happiness. And this is what we see with this same food today, that the more we eat of it, the happier we are. Now, this is what changed my life, and that's why I share it. I began to eat a greater diversity of fruits and vegetables, and as I was eating so many of these, within 2 weeks, my depression just went away. It changed my life. Now, there were other factors, other things that I was avoiding during that time, and avoiding those, research actually shows, could help you to also lower your chances of having anxiety or depression. And I'm going to show you that in upcoming videos on the gut-brain connection. And also I have like a, 4 or 5 hour series that we have on my, site, anchorpointfilms.com, if you have any interest. And so if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications, and you don't want to miss the upcoming videos. God bless and have a fantastic day.